Some people don't crave constant company. They don't feel empty when they're alone. In fact, they often feel most like themselves there. Psychology has a lot to say about this preference, and none of it means something is wrong with you. In a world that values constant interaction, choosing solitude can easily be misunderstood. But psychology suggests something very different. People who prefer being alone often have minds that work more deeply, emotions that regulate internally, and a natural awareness of their own energy. This video explores the psychology behind that preference. Not to label it, but to understand it. Psychology shows that human nervous systems respond to stimulation in different ways. For some people, social interaction feels energizing. For others, it feels intense. People who prefer being alone tend to process social input more deeply. Voices, emotions, expressions, expectations. This doesn't mean discomfort. It means sensitivity. Solitude allows their nervous system to slow down, reset, and return to balance. Being alone is not withdrawal. It's regulation. Many people seek interaction to quiet their thoughts. But for those who prefer solitude, their thoughts are already active, reflective, and layered. Psychology links this preference to introspection and abstract thinking. Silence doesn't feel empty to them. It feels spacious. Being alone gives their mind room to move freely, without interruption. People who prefer being alone usually aren't avoiding connection. They're simply selective. Psychology shows they value depth over frequency. They prefer one honest conversation over many surface-level exchanges. When interaction lacks meaning, solitude feels more authentic. It's not rejection, it's alignment. Another key trait psychology highlights is emotional self-regulation. People comfortable with being alone often know how to sit with their emotions. They don't immediately look outward for reassurance or distraction. This builds inner stability, emotional clarity, and self-trust. Being alone doesn't feel threatening because they've learned how to be present with themselves. In social settings, they may appear quiet, but psychology suggests they're often deeply observant. They notice patterns, how people speak, how emotions shift, how energy changes in a room. They don't rush to fill silence. They speak when they feel something is worth adding. Their quiet presence often carries more awareness than it appears. Social interaction requires energy. People who prefer being alone are usually very aware of how their energy moves. Psychology refers to this as internal recharging. They restore themselves through silence, reflection, and personal space. Protecting that space isn't avoidance, it's self-care. Because society often values visibility and expressiveness, people who prefer solitude are sometimes misunderstood. They may be seen as distant or detached. Psychology suggests otherwise. Their emotional world is often rich, just private. They feel deeply, but quietly, and solitude gives them the freedom to exist without explanation. When solitude is chosen intentionally, it can support creativity, clarity, and independence. Many people who think deeply, create thoughtfully, or understand themselves well, have a healthy relationship with being alone. Solitude provides space, and space allows insight to form. Preferring to be alone is not a flaw in personality. Psychology sees it as a deep processing mind, a calm-seeking nervous system, and a person comfortable with their inner world. You don't need constant noise to feel complete. Sometimes, silence is where understanding lives. If this felt familiar, or helped you understand yourself a little better, you're welcome to share that in the comments. There are many people like you, quietly thoughtful and comfortable in their own space.